next guest is what the music industry would call, and what we'd call, a guitar prodigy. At the age of 27, she's played with some of the biggest names in the business, including Alice Cooper, Carrie Underwood, Santana, and she was also handpicked to be part of Michael Jackson's ill-fated This Is It tour. Please welcome to the Circle Couch, Orianthi! Here on the Circle. Yours is such an incredible success story in terms of a guitarist internationally, and your story started in Adelaide. Can you take us through, for our viewers at home, our studio audience, what's happened since that age in Adelaide?
Well, I moved over to LA about 6 years ago, and I made my first record. And it's been touring around the world.
When you first picked up a guitar, was it natural to you? Did it just flow?
Yeah, it just felt really familiar. And I just kept on wanting to learn more.
How old were you when you started?
I was 6.
6. And was your family musical?
My dad, he plays guitar.
And how did he influence you?
Great record collection. He plays like Greek music, but also listens to Jimi Hendrix and Santana, so...
But really how do you go from going to LA to performing with some of the biggest names in showbiz? You're currently in Australia with Michael Bolton.
Yeah.
Take us through how that process works. Do they contact you? Do you have to audition for them?
Well, Michael reached out. He wanted me to play on his last record. We played Still Bars together. And I actually grew up listening to his music. So Mum would clean the house every Sunday listening to Soul Provider.
Oh, Soul Provider, it's a great album.
Soul Provider, so I know all the songs off that. And he's just super cool, like an amazing singer, and he's a great guitar player, really great guitar player. So we just jam out some blues.
So they recognise that you're a brilliant guitarist.
Yes, because clearly you are.
Well, thank you. But I love playing, and it's so much fun jamming out with Michael, and it's so much fun jamming out with Alice Cooper, and they're so different, but both just great.
Yeah, how do you go from Alice Cooper to Michael Bolton? How do you go with the contrast there?
Well, my iPod's kind of all over the place. Like, I listen to so many different people. So, yeah, I mean, with Alice, I had to learn like 25 songs in a week.
Wow.
So that was pretty crazy, because I was making my album in Nashville with Dave Stewart, which I had a blast doing. And then Alice reached out and said, would you go on tour with me? And so I had to learn like 25 songs. So I just had to get into his world. Cover myself in blood, tease my hair up to high heaven. There's a lot of hairspray.
The theatrics of it, though, too, isn't it? It's being able to do what you did. We just saw a vision of you with him, with the blood, being involved in the particular theme of the artist.
And teasing those squealing, squalling noises out of that guitar. It's an amazing thing to watch. Now, speaking of being an amazing guitar player, the Michael Jackson This Is It tour was... The film was amazing because you saw the best in the business being chosen to play on that tour, and you were the guitarist. Can you tell us about the process of being chosen for that tour?
Well, that was pretty crazy. I was in a studio and I got a message through Facebook or MySpace from Mike Bearden, musical director, and he's like, would you come in and audition? MJ has seen your YouTube videos, and would you come in and play the Beat It solo, and also want to be starting something, and Dirty Diana as well. I didn't think I was going to get it. I was so nervous, like meeting him, let alone like playing the Beat It solo in front of him.
Wasn't that by Eddie Van Halen?
Yeah. So I went in there and just and played it. He wanted it super loud. He was sitting on the couch just staring at me, and never been that nervous in my life. And then afterwards he's like, you're all hired. And I was super emotional, and I told everybody, and I was just,
And what was it like when you were just about to, you were rehearsing, we're seeing vision of there, when, you know, the inevitable happened and he passed away? How did that affect you?
Well, everyone was, like, in shock. I was in shock for about, I think it took about a year, actually, because I was doing so much press with my record because I was finishing up my album. And the single, According to You, got put out there, so it was kind of crazy for me because it was still like sinking in, and we're all family. It was like this big musical family. Loved working with Michael, who was such a sweet person, and incredibly talented, amazing dancer, and just directed everyone so well. And I learnt so much from him, so yeah, just...
I can't help but, have you seen, I'm looking at your hands.
Yeah.
You know, that's where...
Awful.
No, they're not awful. That's where the magic comes from. It's just incredible. But, you know, do you have to take care of them at all? Do you have, you know, in terms of a guitarist, you're a bit like an athlete in terms of your body. Do you have to do anything in particular, like warm them up?
Backstage sometimes, yeah, I do, but they're kind of all sort of gross and like cut up.
I want to ask you about that,
yeah.
Orianthi, because when you talk about somebody becoming a good guitarist or good musician of any kind, it's often men. It's mostly men, and the picture that I get from interviewing musicians for years is dorky guys in their bedrooms with the door closed, noodling away for hours and hours and hours, and it's sort of a solitary pursuit, a single-minded thing. Sometimes at the other end of that, they want to pull chicks, but even that is in the distance. What's motivating Orianthi as a young girl to really plug away and become good at the guitar?
You know, it was just hearing the guitar for the first time. I remember hearing Santana play Europa, and that just really affected me, and I was like, I want to play like that. I want to be able to do that. And he just put so much heart into his playing, and I was studying classical at the time when I heard him, and I didn't want to play classical anymore. It was like, that was just boring. But hearing Carlos play is just so awesome, and, you know, he's definitely, you know, the reason why I play electric.
That's amazing, because then you got to play with him.
Yeah, that was pretty daunting, because, and I played with him quite a few times and hung out, and it's still kind of, you know, he's the reason why I play, so I'm never completely comfortable in his presence, you know. So.
Can I ask you something really quickly? As a fellow Greek Australian, all these amazing people that you've played with and all this amazing music that you can play, do you occasionally go to family gatherings and all your relatives want you to do is bust out a bit of Zorba?
Not yet, no. That doesn't happen.
They will now, Terry.
Have you got top 3 favourite riffs or 3 hardest riffs that you love in music?
The hardest riffs? Trying to think. Well, probably the song that was a challenge for me to learn because it was so long was Halo of Flies, Alice Cooper. It's 11 minutes long.
Wow.
So trying to memorise that. Not that it's like super difficult to play, but it's just memorising that. It's a really cool song, and there's so many cool, memorable riffs in that. Trying to think of some others that I love. Anything Steve Vai, really. The Attitude song.
Any Queen riffs, or not? Is a Queen riff up there for you as a guitarist? Or
I
not?
love Queen, but I haven't really played any of their songs. No.
She's too busy blowing away the halo of flies.
Well, congratulations on your success, Orianthi. And you've got an album coming up mid-year, is that right?
Yeah, we're going to finish it off when I return back to LA after this tour with Michael.
Well, Australia's really proud of you. Please thank Orianthi for joining us. Thank you, Orianthi. It's great to meet you. And for more information on Orianthi, please head to our website. Colin Lane is heading into the kitchen after this quick but vitally important break. See you in a sec.